My name is Kate Robards. I am the 2020 winner of the soon-to-be-famous Illinois Author Manuscript Contest. That is for my book called The Songbird Baby. It's currently in a manuscript format, and with the contest winnings, I am looking forward to one day seeing it as a real book, hopefully on the shelves of a library. As part of winning the contest, I won two different prizes, both really great. One is an editor to review the full manuscript, provide overall feedback and line editing. And the other is my most exciting is the cover design. So I was able to get a fully developed, ready to use cover for my manuscript. So if I want to publish it as an ebook myself, I already have a cover already. Well, I'm excited to be a semifinalist in the next contest. So, hopefully we will see where that goes, but I know I'll be up against some really great manuscripts as well. The editorial process was really interesting. My favorite part is that I got a letter from an editor with just overall overarching feedback. It was a few pages long, and it just provided just this kind of holistic look at what the editor thought of my manuscript. And that's really helpful just before you even dive into the line edits, because of course the editor also went page by page, word by word to review the manuscript as well, from the small details like commas and word choice. But, this letter also provided that bigger feedback about characters and theme and, overall tone and setting. So I thought that was really helpful. Right now, I'm working through all of the comments from the editorial letter and on the manuscript. So, when you look at the manuscript as a Word document, you could go through and you could select accept all changes, but I am a bit of a perfectionist and I'm very protective of my work. So I am going one by one on all of those comments and reviewing them and thinking through them. So it's a lengthy process, but I think it's really worth it. And then, with the overall editorial letter, I'm also just thinking through some of those things that, seem like they're small, but are really interesting comments that the editor provided. And so, things just as simple as two characters have a name that starts with the same letter. So maybe you should rethink one of those characters' names just so the reader could read it a little easier. So there are lots of things like that in the letter that I thought were helpful and maybe aren't, major changes, but just a lot of things to consider. So right now I'm just working through all of those comments and, like I said, going one by one. The process to get the cover designed was pretty thorough. So I filled out a lengthy questionnaire about my book. I provided the summary of the book, obviously the back cover text, but also some things like what are some images or themes or just visual items that recur throughout the story that may be good for a cover. Also things like what type of font are you looking for? And that wasn't like I needed to be a graphic designer to answer those questions, but it was more like, are you looking for bold or fun or curly, which might be more of like a romance novel. So that was also really helpful. So I got to provide input. You could also choose, let the designer do their own thing, but I've filled it out and shared all the different themes and different visuals that I thought were important to the story. And what they gave back was perfect. It was exactly what I would have wanted if I had the ability to design it myself. With the process where I submitted the details about the cover, you could also submit some different words about the tone of the book. So I selected things like mysterious, suspenseful, moody, and I think that really helped the cover designer put together a cover that really evoked the right tone for the book. So some of the visuals that I submitted were, it's set at a lake in the forest, and it was just a kind of a spooky vibe almost. And so I think that the cover designer did really well with those comments and was able to put together a cover that not only matched the setting in a good way, but also just the colors. It's a little bit darker, but it still has some blues, so it's still eye-catching. I think that if you were to see it on the shelf of a bookstore or a library, you would say, oh, okay, I could read that one. Before I won this prize package, in some ways, I had kind of felt like I had kind of close that chapter, so to speak. Like I'm done. I'm happy with where it's at. But now that I got the comments back from the editor and I have such a wonderful cover, I feel really like reinvigorated to keep working on it. So, as I've mentioned, I'm really just working through those edits and trying to bring it to the next level. Once I work through all of those, I'm still thinking about continuing to reach out to some agents with the updated manuscript, but I also have set a timeline in my head with this summer. If I don't get any real interest, I'm planning to go through the process to get it self-published, and I'm really excited to see it out in the world. So whichever way it gets there, I'm hoping that by the end of the year, I could see it, you know, for sale or able to read somewhere, whether it's self-published or starting through the channels of traditional publishing.